critical hit from a dice tower bomb.
Yeah, we're live, by the way.
Oh, good.
Oh, yay.
How is everybody doing?
I exist.
Same.
I just finished a very long day at work, and now I have kielbasa.
Oh, now that more of us are here, once again, super shout out to Tim for sending me the worst possible character sheet imaginable. Where I have 1K by 710 PNG from one of our players. From John, yeah. A 1635 by 724 PNG from the other character. And then 7 like camera photos of a character sheet on paper that I described to John as being filled out by a 2mm mechanical pencil on white paper.
Mm-hmm.
What?
It is very difficult to read unless I zoom in. The bad news is when I zoom in, it makes it very difficult to see. Like if I zoom in on a skill to see what the total is, I have to scroll so far to the side to see the total that I can no longer see what skills I'm looking at.
It's just back and forth, just, all right, here, this one, all right, scroll. Okay, that's what it is. All right, now go back. This one,
So
all right, now
like,
scroll.
Like using a computer and having to put your finger on the monitor and scroll.
Got it, okay, now let's go back. Glad you like mine.
This is all part of my ingenious plan to make sure the DM knows I have a character sheet, but doesn't actually know what's on it.
So it's just like the 600-page backstory of Doom, but it's your stats instead.
Mm-hmm.
Did everyone send you a backstory?
No, I don't think anyone sent me a backstory.
I sent you sort of one a while ago.
Bless you.
Like 3
I mean,
months
I
ago.
gave you my premise.
Yeah, I gave you my premise too.
It's
That's
you sent me
also-
that before you built your character,
Mhm.
which changed parts of your character.
Not that much.
All right, real quick, as we're about to start.
Yeah,
let me...
the premise that I sent you is my character backstory.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Right, I'll be back in 1 second. Sorry, Goro, I'm gonna have to kick you out.
Aw,
But Mom's gonna be home real soon.
doggo.
Oh, sorry about that.
Luke, come here.
We're not kicking you out, Luke. You can stay.
Luke! Come here! There you are.
What a good girl.
Dad, why do you do this?
Because we love you and we're proud of you.
She's gonna be playing with us.
Yes.
We do need a mascot.
Dom, did you get her character sheet?
Yes.
Okay, good. By her, I mean Loot.
Oh, no, I did not get her.
She's playing too.
Oh, cool. What, everything is she playing?
Everything. She's multi-class everything. So she's got
She's such a smart girl.
4/20ths of every single. So I guess that 1/5. I guess 1/5 of every class.
Yeah, 1/5 of a level. Yes. This class gives me 1 skill point and 1/5 of a to hit.
I suspect she has about as much intelligence as I do, and I know for a fact she has more charisma.
Oh, much more charisma.
I'm sure she has more con than I do.
Everyone has more con than John does.
Tim, you say you've got strength. Don't blow in my direction.
At the same time, it's good that you have strength, because that's not my strong suit either.
But then again, to be fair,
You ready to literally carry the party while we guide you because you can't think?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good.
Meanwhile, I'll be counting how many sneezes it takes to get to John's death saves.
Counting On your fingers?
I mean, I don't know if plural is necessary.
I have more than one finger.
Yeah, it doesn't need more than one
Yeah, but I don't think
sneeze.
you'll need that many to count that high.
I know I have 5 fingers.
And that's enough for a discount. Hey!
This is 5, right?
Yes, correct.
Yes. Do I have? No. I rearranged my desk. I don't have any snacks for each, I'm sorry. All the crayons are in the other room.
Okay.
That's okay, I've just got a plate of meat in front of me.
Is that okay?
Are you just eating meat?
Sounds better than okay. I
It's
have
delicious smoked sausage, so yes.
I have a pear cider. That's exciting.
I did all my eating and drinking before stream because, you know.
You get to talk the whole time?
I don't know if get to is exactly the way I would describe it, but
I did all my eating beforehand too.
Same.
I
would
drinking.
have, except I only got home 15 minutes before the stream.
yeah, so I went to Taco Bell. It took me like 10 seconds, and then I ate in like 5 minutes. And that's with the dog just absolutely all up in my business.
He's so cute.
I made fish
I went to work,
tacos.
took like 11 hours.
She's very cute. And because of her, we actually have a third pet now who is a tapeworm, apparently.
Oh,
Oh.
exciting!
That's the thing we've just found out. We're not even like, we haven't even like officially like gone to a vet or anything to check. We're just like, like there's some things that happened that when we looked up, we're like, apparently that's a tapeworm thing. So she got a tapeworm in like 2 weeks.
Have you? Oh, she probably got the tapeworm well before then.
Before, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
Have you sung her the
Are
tapeworm?
you going to have a
song
gender
yet?
reveal party for the tapeworm?
I don't know if that's a thing they have. Like genders, I mean, I'm not.
If you have it, then yes.
Do tapeworms have genders?
This isn't even related to D&D, but
They're-
it sounds like it could be a D&D related search.
They are hermaphrodite.
So you get
Yeah,
to throw a
sounds
purple one.
It's a both.
It's oh god. What
Purple
a
forest fire.
incredible start to a campaign. All right. Is everyone
Like Twitch.
is everyone ready?
Sure.
Maybe.
All right. So, our story begins with.
Actually, I'm
do you
just
guys have
gonna
like a
now.
name for your group,
There.
or do you just do things without needing a name?
We're the
because-
Feisty Heisters.
We're the Feisty Heisters.
Feisty Heisters. Excellent. So, an old friend and contact of you guys, named Rathran Tori, has contacted you once more with an exciting new prospect. They've received word from a reliable source of theirs that a moderately wealthy-looking man has been quietly asking for a crew for a job they'd like done. They're ready to meet with any group that agrees to help them at a tavern a day out from a town called Opal Springs to discuss their terms. And they say to ask for Tommy.
Okay.
I'm assuming you go there.
All right.
Yes.
Good. That'd be a very horrible start to a campaign if not.
We go there. Or I go there.
All right. So,
I do want to see a campaign that goes the other way like that once.
Yeah.
Here's your obvious plot hook. Okay, we follow it. Rocks fall.
Tim, don't you remember when we were doing the one with Dope Hammerin and everything? Because that's pretty much literally what happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, leave the city, and we're like, you mean make the entire game be in the city?
That did happen. All right, I
Yeah.
sent a link in general chat if you guys want to open that up just for some beautiful ambience. That is royalty free.
Okay, cool.
Slash, I went through their FAQs and they were basically like, if you're not making money off of stuff, absolutely feel free. If you do, if you're making like a lot of money or something, just maybe donate a bit. So I'm like,
Gotcha.
yeah, okay, that's fair. So if things suddenly go well for the group, yeah, I'll go to their Patreon.
There we go.
Yeah, this does work.
It appears to be successful.
Good.
I get nothing.
It takes a while.
Interesting.
We are
I
in
haven't
a-
tested that part of it, so
Well,
It's probably fine.
Supposedly it's being picked up.
Does it not go through your audio?
It does, but, you know.
I don't hear it, but that's okay.
Anyways, so upon entering the Biting Hound, the owner, once you ask about Tommy, directs you to a table in the corner, where a snaggle-toothed half-orc with a goofy grin on his face sits.
Snaggletooth.
Snaggletooth.
What was the
Yeah,
name you said?
Very good word.
Tommy.
Tommy, okay.
Yeah, by snaggletooth, I mean, like, his tusk goes at, like, the weirdest possible angle out of his face.
Okay.
So, as you walk over and sit down, he sort of starts talking quietly for a few minutes, just, like, making small talk and, you know, talking very randomly, just broadly about, like, whatever he can think of. And any questions you would start to ask about the job, he just sort of dodges them, talks about something else again, acts like you're like old friends and like catching up, until the tavern starts to pick up. Once it fills up with people, he starts to talk a little more. The two booths next to his, of course, corner seats, so the one to the left and behind you guys, sort of don't attract much attention. They both seem to have like spills and like food and stuff that's left behind, but none of the staff seem to be like picking it up or cleaning it or anything for whatever reason. And once the tavern is full, he begins to talk actual business, just loud enough to be heard without anyone else overhearing. All right, so this job's pretty simple. There are two things I'd like procured. In Opal Springs, there is a supposed nobleman who's fallen from grace, but still clings to his meager fortune and extravagant life. Two items I want are as follows. There's a jade box set with 4 opals and a diamond on top, along with its contents. Don't attempt to open that. I'll get to that later. The second item I need is part of his records. Page I seek is from over a month ago and contained the purchasing record for the aforementioned box. It's very important that we have that record. And before you get any ideas about selling this box, know that only the opals on top of it are pure. Diamond's pretty much nothing, and the jade is like a thin veneer on top of muddled iron. Pretty bad. He smiles widely as he talks, his broken tusk jutting out into the air at a bizarre angle before he reaches up and just twists it back into place.
Ugh.
Huh.
Not that I
the
think you
noble?
would have sold it, obviously, but, you know, we're always going to settle such ideas before they're brought to mind. I ask that you take nothing else besides these 2 items, just because it's imperative that the rest of the fortune stays intact for now. You will, of course, be rewarded quite well for your restraint, so don't worry too much. I'm going to be back in this tavern in exactly 2 weeks' time. If you bring me the items that I request, you'll be given a sum of 7,000 gold pieces. What do you say?
Sounds good.
Got nothing better to do.
Sounds like a plan.
Excellent.
Did he tell us the name of the noble?
Not yet.
Okay.
So, alright, so before we're done, let me hand you the one bit of help that you guys could have. Put this in NPCs and informants. If I can remember where the folder I have with this. Where did I put this folder?
That's the best.
I like how supposedly my connection has failed to the sound pad. Still
But you
hearing
hear
it.
it?
Yep.
Interesting. You know what? As long as it works, fine.
I like how I'm successfully connected and I hear nothing.
I also love that. It's so cool.
It's fantastic.
Man, but I put so much work into that.
I would really love to hear it, but I have no idea how to make sure it's not muted or something. There's no apparent mute buttons.
Okay, good. One of our listeners can apparently hear the sound, so we good.
Yay.
But also, sorry, you can't hear the sound. All right. So
Just
before you
listen
guys
to the
go,
stream and to the rest of our voices out.
say again.
just listen to the stream and tune the rest of our voices out.
You know, that's actually kind of fair. All right, so he hands you a
Thanks for trying.
really well-designed like floor plan and some fairly shitty writing on top, but you know, it's the best you can do.
Oh, I hear.
Okay.
Sorry.
There we go. I've kind of got it in here. Nope. Now I've gone and screwed it up.
Now I've lost connection.
Oh, there can only be
connection
3.
failed. My lost it too.
Yeah, I've seen 2 connected players. I'll have to like figure out later if there's an easy way to get it working, but I'm glad it's working for stream at least.
Yeah.
And so as he hands it to you, he says, now obviously this doesn't have all the, you know, furniture, livings, etc. of all the stuff in there. Unfortunately, we're not able to grab that kind of stuff for you. But, you know, hopefully it'll help. I do suggest you guys find a way in beforehand to get a good view of what kind of place it is. He's a pompous fool, honestly, and he's got a taste for art, in much the same way a child has a taste for wine. Perhaps this would be enough for you to gain entry in some way? I don't know, I've said too much. I'll leave the rest to you guys. Oh, and know this, after 2 weeks, the offer is over, of course. But I am a man who appreciates and rewards efficient work. If you guys are able to procure the item in less than 2 weeks, simply return here, ask the innkeeper for Tommy, and I'll be here the next day with a bonus for you. Depending on how good you do, or how quick you do it. And he nods seriously and stands up, and then he sits back down and he's like, oh, sorry, one last thing. So the box, it's got 3-digit lock on it. Normally these are pretty easy to get over time. However, we've heard rumor that this box has been set with a pretty bad trap. If you put in the wrong code 3 separate times, the box itself and everything in it bursts into flame and burns to ash. I have no idea where or how he keeps this code, but if you guys are able to figure it out, there's another 2,000 extra for you.
Can you tell us the name of the nobleman?
Yeah, that's Baron Mafar Orbsurge.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Fellows?
Do you know
Sounds pretty
any
straightforward.
of his plans coming up? Like, is he known to be having any events or anything?
Let me actually ask. Let me see if you have. No problem.
I have nobility. Do you want me to roll?
Do you have not geography, local? Yes, it looks like you have some local. Go ahead and roll that for me.
I'm looking to see what my bonus is.
I've got some local. I'll roll that as well.
I mean, I do too, but I'm not going to have everyone roll the same check.
Especially because all of you have a bonus within 1 point of each other, I think.
Where is that? There
I
it
think
is.
you have a +8.
I do. Okay. Total of 9.
20 non-natural.
Okay, well, that helps at least. All right, so you have actually heard of Opal Springs before. A while ago, they were pretty well known for having like really extravagant and really common street festivals. Like it was sort of like an every other week kind of deal. Like they had a sort of like economic boom one time, and they've just been like riding that out and just having fun all the time. About a year ago, I think around like 9 months-ish, all of that suddenly ceased due to their leader essentially upset at the noise and saying that it bothers him. So they've been unfortunately no longer doing those, much to every townsperson's anger.
Gotcha, he's a curmudgeon.
Can I get a knowledge on the name, if the name sounds familiar to me?
Yeah, roll a nobility for that.
24.
24. You have unfortunately heard of this man.
Oh no.
He is a baron who was given a manor as thanks for his work as a blacksmith, who crafted weapons for His Majesty's army after the king went missing during the Fourth War of Graces, just forever ago, about 70 years. He was a key piece in assembling a task force and helped take up arms to defend his home. And as much as that was incredible and very helpful, he was super well loved once he was given this manor by his townfolk. But he got grumpier and harsher as time went on, and he reduced and then recently completely disallowed all mining in the town, which was an opal-based mining town.
I never would have guessed.
Say again?
I said I never would have guessed.
Yeah. And he's raised taxes and basically has become very hated by all the people he lords over. And you have also heard his name mentioned in that he has a love of art. He basically, he thinks he understands art as well. He thinks he understands art in the exact opposite amount that he has talent for art. He has tried to show multiple works of his to people to sell for extravagant amounts, and it is some of the worst art anybody has ever seen.
Gotcha. Like
The
a former
Lord of
president
Dunning
us.
and Kruger.
He has, much to everyone in the world's frustration, has called himself the second coming of the great painter La Versailles, which is clearly not true, considering they share absolutely nothing. No artistic talent, ability, types, nothing. But that's what he thinks.
Okay. Good to know.
Also, Tim, with your knowledge local, I forgot to mention, something you'll know about Opal Springs as well is that a well-known fact of Opal Springs is in the center of town, there is a roughly 7-inch tall pure opal statue of the Opal Lady, is what essentially the town's not deity, but sort of the person that they give offerings to for every festival.
Okay.
Do y'all have anything more to ask?
What do these festivals usually look like? What happens during them?
Are you asking me or are you asking Tommy? 'Cause
Asking
Tommy
you,
did-
since this is
Okay, good.
supposedly something I would already know.
It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of selling food on the street, general festivities, a lot of juggling and showmanship and things like that. It's basically a thanks to the lady for the economic boom caused by the opal mines, and a lot of, usually there's a pile of sacrifices every couple weeks to the lady, and those are eventually taken away by as tax, quote unquote, kind of thing for police or guard force, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's mostly about just celebrating life and celebrating their economic boom and their money.
Okay. But well, I wouldn't know. Never mind.
Well, let's get to it. Time's wasting.
Tommy nods seriously to you and stands up and immediately is like, "Well, friends, it was good to see you and catch up with you. I'll see you guys again."
You too, Tommy. Take care of yourself.
Good. And he grins a bit too wide and falls backwards with a mighty crash, as though he had had far too many beers, despite the fact that you hadn't really seen him drinking all night.
Or
He
at all.
stumbles back to his feet, gives the nearest table a sheepish grin, and lurches towards the door, disappearing into the night.
You forgot your tooth.
Sorry, he's got extra.
All right.
So how far are we from this manor?
Opal
Opal
Springs.
Springs is about a one-day
Or Opal
ride
Springs.
by horse.
Okay.
Do you guys have horses?
I do not.
I don't think so.
Let's
How much
see.
are horses?
I would like to purchase the services of a horse.
Wait, maybe I know I looked at it. No, I didn't go for
I
it.
just want you guys to know I can carry you in a pinch. I can't carry the horse.
A purchase of a light horse costs about 75 gold, but I'm sure
Yeah,
you can
what's renting?
But
Tim, what's your lift above head?
300.
Bro, what's your weight?
mm,
I know, you're not supposed to ask a girl that thing, but I'm also a girl, so it's okay.
I know you're a girl. I'm just trying to find my weight.
It's at the top.
135.
Okay, perfect.
Well, plus pack.
Oh, shit,
28.
Right.
So, 135 plus 28.
298. We're good.
Total between us?
Yeah.
All right, so as luck would have it, and also because it is a pretty this is the closest inn to the city, aside from like the inn in the city itself. So it's a pretty common place to go through in order to get there, so you can sleep for the night. So there is a carriage service that is at the inn currently that'd be able to take you there, and it would cost a total of 120 copper, so about 1.2 gold spread between the three of you.
Yeah, I think that sounds fair.
Okay.
Okay.
It's 3 copper a mile, and it's about 40 miles.
So, how much did you say again?
120 copper.
120
Or each or total?
120 copper, so about 40 copper each. Or 4 silver.
4 silver each, yeah.
4 silver each. Okay.
There we go. Oh, thanks a lot. Useless website.
What did it do?
Why?
It
logged you out.
It logged me out of my.
I've been
character
very
sheet.
carefully keeping myself active.
You know, it's terrible when you get logged out of your character sheet.
It's fine.
But I want to buy a horse.
It's okay, you can buy a horse. I've also found out that you can rent a steam golem.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a steam giant.
I'm sure
For
that's
80,000
available
gold.
everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Because the light horse can carry me with my 28-pound pack, right?
Oh, of course. Actually, yeah, I should be able to.
I don't remember how much the gear is, though, for a horse.
More.
Alright, so. It'll most likely be, yeah, so you can take it now. You'll show up there near, probably near noon. And you'll be able to sleep in the carriage.
Same day? Or...
Next day. This
Next
was, you were at the end roughly like evening.
Okay. Just to be clear, I am wearing, just kind of normal clothes, like a step above peasant. It's like just, you know, standard wear people would have in the middle of a city.
Okay.
I was, but I changed in the carriage, and now I'm in my performer garb.
Okay. Tim, what kind of duds you rocking?
I've got like a leather-looking jacket and travel clothes.
You always
Or
know
vest,
a
I should
player
say.
isn't planning anything when they say, "Oh, yeah, my clothing is leather looking," and you're just like, "All right, what bullshit is it?"
You know exactly what bullshit this is.
Yeah, I do, unfortunately. All right, so
Oh, yeah, my cloak is brown, by the way.
Does that matter? Do I need to know what color my performing clothes are?
I mean, it's just as opposed to the reverse of it.
Oh. I think I also have a reversible cloak, but that's just unrelated to anything.
much better place to put my things. I'll put it in this channel instead. All right, so let me give you.
Awesome.
Aha. Here's what I need. Here is a map of the town for your perusal, I guess.
Let's
It's not
see if
particularly
this will
large.
work.
It's about 100, 150 people at most.
Okay. You're really making this difficult for me.
Am I not giving you rectangular pictures?
Yeah.
Alright, well, I'll try to do that in the future, alright? It's not like this generator gave me the option of how rectangular do you want it to be.
What aspect ratio do you want your map to be in?
Oh man, can someone make that please? That'd be very nice.
It would actually. Yeah. There's no way this is all fitting. There you go, internet. That's what you get.
Yeah, you can scroll it up a bit because you don't really need the compass rose and that part of the river.
Okay. Thanks. Cool. Great.
I mean, probably, unless you apparently do.
No,
Ugh.
it's that I can't actually scroll it up.
Anything.
Alright, that's fair. Alright, so that is the town of Opal Springs. You've got your Baron's Manor in that top left inside of those walls. The servant's housing is that little building next to it, and it's split into a market district, crafting district, and the top set of buildings, or that top street, is Lord's Lane, essentially everything leading up to the manor.
Mhm.
So you arrive via Lilac Street on the right-hand side, and so you sort of show up in the crafting district.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And the festival is currently ongoing.
There are no festivals right now.
Stopped a year ago, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I share all the information I remembered about the Baron on the carriage ride.
good. So I'm assuming you shared information about the city.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear my name.
An
No,
incredible
actually, I do not.
So what I'm thinking is, simple plan, we rile up the citizens who haven't had a festival in a while, and get them to hold a really raucous festival, which makes a lot of noise for us to cover our breaking and entering.
I think we should explore a little bit more first. Maybe if we can actually go up to the Baron's Manor and take a look around. Obviously, not inside unless that's actually an option. But just, you know, look around, see what we can before we start, you know, causing trouble.
I wonder
I
if
like
they do
this idea.
tours.
I think we might be able to get in too if he's as proud of his art as I remember.
So where do you guys head first?
New music.
The tavern?
By the tavern, do you mean the treacherous warlock?
The treacherous warlock?
Yeah.
That is a good name for a tavern.
I like it.
Yeah, we should probably head there first to establish some kind of presence in town, act like normal travelers.
No. Bad. 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 Wrong thing
Ah!
to click.
You ruined everything.
I did ruin
How
everything.
dare that person enter this stream?
How dare the stream enter itself, I
Into
guess?
itself. Ugh, kinky.
I mean, if you're flexible enough.
Tim, I need you to not talk anymore. This music isn't happening. Apparently.
Darn.
Oh well.
Well, we tried.
Yes, we did.
We'll try to figure it out by next week.
hmm The week after.
Well, yes, next session. So, where are you guys headed?
Well, I'm wondering if we should even all be together. As much as that's a terrible plan for a stream and a D&D party ever.
Oh, good. First session.
What's the worst that could happen?
Hey, guys, I don't think we should be together because that would be easy.
I know it would be easy, but it would also... Well, never mind. I think it's fine.
I mean, you could also, like, split up, gather some information, and then meet up again in, like, an hour.
let's go take a look at the Baron's Manor first.
Okay.
All right, so you make your way up the street and towards Lord's Lane. And Tim, you actually notice in the sort of corner there, but where the three streets intersect, is a pedestal with nothing on it.
I think there used to be a statue there.
What kind of statue? Was it
An
that lady you
opal
were talking
statue,
about?
Yeah, the opal lady.
Huh.
So you make your way towards the manor, but you are. Do you try to like go into the walls or just like go up to look at it?
I'm just, sort of like walking past, just, kind of nondescriptly looking in to see what things look like.
So you can do that, but I will also warn you that there isn't really much walking past.
Yeah,
There's
well,
not really
I'm
much over
walking
there.
walking
say-
towards down Lord's Lane and just, instead of looking at the shops, I'm sort of actually looking ahead.
So what you see is the walls surrounding the manor itself are about 10 foot tall and made of like solid stone. Okay, not solid stone. A lot of little pieces built together, obviously, but they're pretty well made. They mostly just seem like, oh, we just need to keep people out. We don't need it to be that fancy.
Mhm.
Along with a gate in between those two towers in the middle, with one guard sitting, sort of like standing out front watching.
Stone walls. Amateurs.
Yeah.
So the Lord has a lot of art that he's proud of. Maybe they do tours?
That's kind of what I was thinking.
We can give it a try.
I go up to the gate. Or to the guard.
Man turns to you and says, "Halt! What is your business?"
I'm a traveling performer. I like to write my own songs, and I heard that there was a great artist in this mansion, and I wondered if we could see his art.
Don't do tours, and we... Listen, just get out of here. You don't want to hang out with him. He sort of looks pretty, like, peeved in general, but, he does his job anyways.
So he is aware of how bad the art is.
It sounds like everybody is except him.
And us.
Besides, he doesn't meet with artists he doesn't know the name of.
Hmm.
Okay.
You mean you have not heard of the great bluff check?
Please give it to me.
Not you.
No, not you.
So it's like, yeah, what about a bluff check from someone else besides me?
Artist he hasn't heard the name of? Well, would he be interested in hearing music of Runa FSR? 23.
What exactly is your bluff, though? Because you just...
That might be more diplomacy than bluff.
Wait,
Or maybe
what?
persuasion? No,
What's the
persuasion.
question?
You
My
didn't lie, you just... Well, I mean, I guess maybe you aren't a musician.
Wait, is it diplomacy or bluff? I'm a musician.
She is
Okay,
a
yeah, so-
musician.
Okay.
I think she is bluffing that she is a renowned musician.
I'm convincing him that he feels like he really should have heard of me. Is the bluff.
Yep.
All right.
Pull out the book.
Just my NPC book, so I know roughly what kind of rolls I need to be making. There we go.
I'm standing back a bit. Not necessarily together.
All right, so he sort of looks at you for a second. He's like, I'm not sure, really. I don't think any of us have heard of you. I'm not really big into music, so I haven't really. I'll be right back.
Thank you.
He turns around and goes back behind the wall, and a second guard sort of comes out and watches while he's gone.
Dang it.
I take out my instrument and just start tuning it.
And after a few minutes, he comes back to the gate and he says, well, he is a bit busy for a bit. He also, he's really more of like a painter kind of person, I think, or, anything he can see, like technically sculpture, I think is what he calls it.
Okay.
Technically painting, I think he says.
All right.
All right.
So unless any of you are famous painters, then there's not much we can go off of.
If you paint thickly enough on the canvas, it can become a sculpture.
He sort of squints his eyes at Tim as though he's getting a little suspicious.
No, not a painter. I was just hoping. My muse has been a little quieter lately, and I was hoping for some inspiration. Nothing like some really great paintings to just spark the imagination. Do I do a diplomacy check?
Yes, actually.
Yeah. Why are all my rolls bad? 17.
Could be worse. You could roll like I usually roll.
I rolled a 6. I just have really good bonuses.
He sort of reaches out and puts a hand on your shoulder and is like, between you and I, you're not going to find them here.
They were sold?
This is my traveling companion. I still don't know why.
He looks over at Sver and is just like, no, that's not quite what the problem is. I think it would be best if you guys... But before he finishes, you see a figure sort of bounding towards you. Not bounding, more waddling.
Waddling, okay.
Waddling swiftly.
The closer, or as they approach you,
Galumphing, maybe.
Say again?
Galumphing, maybe?
Yeah, that might be about right. You see a dwarf dressed in too fine of an outfit for everything else about him. The closer he gets, the more you start to see he has these like really thick, bushy eyebrows that like he looks like he has never taken care of in his life.
Mm-hmm.
Especially considering the like 2 to 3 layers of flecks of paint sort of muddled in them and his mustache as well. And as he approaches, he sort of like stands up all straight and is just like, I hear that there might be an appreciator of the arts that has come to visit the great second coming of the painter La Versailles. He looks very proud of himself as he says this.
Oh, he says this?
Yes.
La Versailles, you say? Ah. You must
you've
have
heard of him.
very fine talent indeed.
La Versailles, say I.
What types of paintings do you do?
Oh, all types, my friend. I've completed many great works. Oil paintings, watercolors. He's sort of listing off things that he has heard, it seems like.
Have you done landscapes?
In fact, roll me a sense motive check real quick.
Oh gosh. Oh, that's a good roll. That one. 24.
Yeah, you get the impression that he has essentially like maybe read a book on painting and has now considered himself an expert. It says, yes, I've painted many, many landscapes of our beautiful little town here. Please, come in. I would love to show them to you. Are these two painters as well, or...?
No, this is my traveling companion, Sphere. He helps when I have extra luggage.
Yes. We all need someone to carry all of our supplies, don't we? That's
And
what
I
the
just
rabble are for.
sort of met that one along the road. It was cheaper to tag along in their carriage. You know how a broke artist's life is. Well, maybe you don't. You've been successful. But as I said, my muse is running low lately. That's why I seek inspiration.
Ah, yes, I see. I understand. I'm certain some artists have trouble with their muse occasionally, but I'm sure a few looks at the marvelous creations I have brought should do your heart and your muse well. Come in.
Coming
like,
up,
as
Kimchi's friend, will you join us? We get a tour.
Sure.
Yes, I suppose that one can come also. I'm sure they will also appreciate the great things I've done. And starts
who could
moving
not?
towards the house rather quickly in like a hustle, which is like impressive. You might describe him as incredibly short and stout and roughly as round as he is tall.
Okay.
He seems very well fed and very obviously nobility for that exact reason, along with the many gaudy rings on his hands.
I follow.
As you walk past the gate, the guard from before sort of looks at you and mouths, "I tried to save you, I'm sorry."
I just smile and keep going.
So he takes you inside through the front gate, or very lavish front hall. Let me pull up my map for myself.
So just to be sure I'm thinking of the right thing, this sounds like the kind of guy who wears an Armani suit with sneakers.
No, but he would wear like a knockoff Armani suit with like sneakers that he thinks he has crafted to become better than like anything else.
So he put glitter on them.
Or slightly golden paint, one of those. So he brings you in through the entrance hall, and as you walk in, you note that there are guards sort of near, not like every doorway, but enough, like one in each room sort of thing to keep an eye on stuff, and they sort of have eyes on you the whole time, everywhere you walk. So he walks you into the entrance hall and takes a left into the first long room on the left-hand side, which is his gallery. And I'd like everyone to make me a will save.
I just got logged out of my character sheet.
Alright, we'll save.
Good character sheets.
Oof.
A will
12.
save, you said?
Yeah, will save.
At least it's not fort save.
Ooh,
11.
28.
All right, so
Well, she's the one that matters in this case, because she's the actual artist.
Do I also need to just do a general bluff check?
yeah,
Considering
go
I am
ahead.
very enthusiastic about this art. I am his biggest fan. Which might not be saying much, but 24.
Tim, roll me a stealth check real quick, but not including your armor. So just like, if you don't have points in it, just dexterity.
Let's see.
So you're saying I just beat it?
18.
All right, so you manage to sort of look away in time so that he doesn't notice your essentially verbal gagging at the sight of the paintings that he has crafted. None of which look like they were done by an adult or someone who should be allowed next to art. At the very least, someone who shouldn't be allowed to have the ability to put their stuff on a wall and craft like really beautiful plaques for each and every one with like the name and medium and everything on it, as though this was the finest museum, which he unfortunately has.
I walk up to the
Okay.
closest one. I think I've heard of this style. Is this macrame?
Is this what?
Macrame.
What is macrame?
Macrame is something you make by braiding ropes or just little flat pieces of fabric together.
Yeah.
Like if you've seen like a woven belt before out of leather, that's macrame.
He turns and walks over. He's like, "Ah, how astute, my friend! I was worried I would be the only one here who understands all this."
Are there any of them with green in them? Like, predominantly?
Oh yeah, like one of his landscapes of the town is pretty much entirely green. Just
Okay,
a
I wasn't
couple
sure if
shades
I'd
of
be
it.
able to recognize it as a landscape, but I was gonna assume it was
Oh, yeah.
that.
Yeah, you can tell essentially that it is a landscape, partially because it is turned landscape. Like it is everything
That's
else.
a good
like,
clue.
portrait. Yeah. Also, whoever would like, make me a sense motive check on him.
I will. Oh, nice.
My sense motive is nope, not one.
20, not nat. Not that it matters.
I don't feel a
So
need.
total 7, but not one.
Oh, okay, total 7. Cool. Both of you are pretty sure that he has no idea what Tim said, or at the very least, maybe has heard of that term and was just like, "Oh, yes, that's the thing that it is." But regardless, you can tell he fully believes with utter confidence that he is telling the truth about it.
Okay, I'm gonna go walk up to a non-landscape painting, and be like, "Wow, it really stares into your soul, doesn't it?"
I can't look away.
Ah, yes. The Portrait of Judgment, one of my favorites. It took me hours in a mirror before I was able to capture my own likeness so well. I mean, what you're basically seeing is like a really shitty face.
Yeah.
As, you know,
Okay.
you can figure that out after he mentions that.
Better or worse than the lady who fixed Jesus into a monkey.
Oh, significantly worse, because there was no good groundwork to start from.
Oof.
I mean, this is like the poorest quality of art possible, despite this. Like, this is honestly one of the weirdest experiences of your life, because it's like going to a museum, except there's like children's art, but it's worse than children's art.
Mm-hmm.
Like children's art, you look at, you're like, oh yeah, that's a horse. You just clearly don't understand like depth of field and like all these other things. This guy just sort of put lines near each other and was like, that's a face, and you're like, yeah, I guess there are 2 eyes on there, maybe.
Maybe? I count 4? I go
So
up
it's
to
like
the
a
landscape
kid
and I
tried
just
to draw
start
Picasso.
quietly
Yeah.
playing the most peaceful tune I can. I'm like, this is exactly what I needed. This is gorgeous. Is this local? Is this the area?
Roll me a perform check.
Okay. 22.
I told you she is in fact a musician.
Yes, very much so.
Mm-hmm. It's my cover. I have to be good at it.
Oh god, I hate this man. He comes over to you. He's like, yes. I painted this early in the morning as I sat looking out the window of the most beautiful sight in town. As you can tell, I'm sure that it is. And he sort of waits for you to try to finish what the sight might be.
Well, I can clearly tell that there's a peaceful field in it.
He says, yes, of course. My garden. And it's, he like points to the window of the squarish space in between all of the rooms of his house where there is no rooms by itself, but it's just it's a nice garden. It's not actually that bad. It's clear that he's not the one who takes care of it, so there's actually good-looking flowers in it.
Okay.
None of which you think really match the colors of the painting he used. I mean, there's a lot of like pinks and blues in the garden, and a lot of like greens and browns, and
are there
orange.
flowers in the garden? In the actual garden?
Yes.
Okay. Just looking at this painting, I can practically smell the nature that was around you and in your being as you just flowed.
Everyone else in the room is like, let me.
And I just mutter in her ear, sorry, that was me. I had something weird for lunch.
I believe you.
Says, yes. I knew you would understand. There are so few who I have met who have the insight and abilities that you do to see true art and appreciate it for what it is. I've known someone would come this way who would appreciate me for who I am and what I've been able to create. Because I have to tell you, all of these people here, not a single one of them have thanked me for any of the beauty that I have brought them. They won't even allow any of them to be put into the town, no matter how much I've tried.
I'm gonna speak up right now and say, not even to there's a nice big space in the center of town where it looked like something was missing, and I think one of these paintings would fit perfectly there.
Yes, that damned pedestal. There was once a nice, lovely statue there, but unfortunately some of the villagers got rowdy in one of their so-called festivals and shattered it. So I sent it off to have it repaired, but haven't heard anything back yet. But I'm sure we'll get there eventually, whatever. So unfortunately it's too sacred or whatever to them, so they won't allow even a piece as ordinary and plain as this one. And he points to, one of his portraits that you think is probably the river next to his manor, but it's not super you're like, that's blue, so it's that or the sky. And no matter how much he's saying the word ordinary to talk about it, you get the feeling he's far too proud of it and thinks way too highly of it.
Mm-hmm.
Ordinary? This isn't the ordinary artwork. This is pure genius. Where were you when you did this one?
Roll me a bluff check real quick.
Oh gosh.
Don't worry.
While she's doing that, can I roll a fortitude save?
Can I never roll a fortitude save?
Yeah, so go ahead and roll me your fortitude save to not throw up, probably.
33.
Whew, that beats his 6.
25.
Okay, yeah, you're probably good from whatever it was. And yeah, so he absolutely believes you, of course, and he's like, yes, I know it is not a mere painting, of course. It transcends understanding, truly. It is as though my soul was spread into the pigment and brought onto the painting itself. But compared to everything else here, I'm sure this is one of the not nearly as beautiful as many of the others. This is the one that I believe the peasants could understand the most. But no, they won't allow anything to be on their precious pedestal. Of course, I could never find who removed all of the items I put there, but they were always found in alleys the next day. Ungrateful savages. He sort of mumbles and grumbles to himself.
Do you have more such beautiful works of art throughout your house?
He says, yes, I'm sorry, of course. Where are my manners? Come. Let us have a nice lunch as we peruse some more of my wonderful pieces. And he sort of claps a few times, and a obviously disgruntled cook sort of comes out of one of the side rooms and just yes, Baron, what can I get for you? Bring us some roasted beef, post haste. And he right away, sir. Some for everyone. He's like, yes, of course, some for my distinguished guests. How dare you?
I keep quietly playing as I peruse the art, very quietly, just kind of low key background.
All right, and so he waves you into the next room. So the room to the north of his manor, where a very long and beautiful table is set up, with additional paintings sort of all around the room. Tim, if you want to give me another will save, since you're the only one who has failed it so far.
Okay.
Yeah, my mind is just numb to this at this point.
Am I going to start taking psychic damage? Or is this going to open my mind to some eldritch abomination?
Oh no.
On the other hand, can I earn a resistance from this to just bullshit art?
No, 'cause you're sort of okay. Like at this point, you're like, all right, well now I've seen the worst of it, so hopefully this won't be a problem if I ever see normal bad art. Tim, you have a choice of either very visually sort of reacting to these horrible things or taking 1d4 psychic damage.
I think I'll take 1d4 psychic damage.
Excellent. Oh, cool. 4 psychic damage.
Yep, that's exactly what I rolled too.
Nice. So, the other two of you, of course, as you walk into this room, you don't hear anything from your friend's fair, but you see them tense up very tightly.
A little of me just literally died inside.
Yeah, you walk in and you see... I'm fine. But thankfully, none of that is seen by your host, who has walked directly ahead of you. And he sits at one end of the table, which is, again, there's about like 12 spots between him and the other side of the table. Everyone, if you'd like, roll me knowledge nobility.
Is anything that's happening to Tim a harmful condition?
No, he's just disgusted.
Okay.
That
Sorry,
was
I wanted
knowledge
to help.
nobility?
Yes.
11.
Knowledge nobility?
Yes.
0.
9.
So,
Wow. I rolled a
11.
nat 1, and I have a -1.
Okay, so John, you're at 11.
Correct.
Runa's 9.
Yes.
Okay, so. All right. In order, Tim, as far as you remember, no, I mean, everyone's equal, so you just sit together, right? Like, you just, as close as possible, because that makes it easier for the server. Runa, you don't quite remember exactly, like, where you're supposed to sit based on, like, rank or, like, how far away specifically. John, you're pretty certain that, in general, for this kind of thing, you should sit as far to the other side as possible to, you know, show the illustrious gap between your two situations.
I immediately just grab a hold of Svera's the back of Svera's tunic and just kind of pull over towards where we're sitting down.
Excellent.
Kind of think I pick up a cue from what he's doing to Sphere and sit near my companions.
I've never rolled a 0 before.
As you begin walking that way, he actually calls out to you. He's like, "No, miss, please. Only one such as yourself who can appreciate my art. You don't deserve to be all the way on this side with them. Please." And he like gestures there on his left.
What a snub. Well, thank you. It is a great honor, and an even greater honor to have beheld your art. And sit down.
I feel like Svera's gonna like see Runa walking over there and just start walking after. Just nope, nope.
So you're trying to stop her from sitting there?
Or from like walking towards. I'm trying to stop Svera from walking after Runa to sit.
Oh,
you know.
yes. Okay, yeah.
Runa's just like, oh, shiny.
Runa,
Yeah, this is completely in
You're not
character for
really
Sphere.
So as the three of you sit down and sort of look around, you sort of notice that like pretty much every painting in this room is a self-portrait of some kind, and that you can guess that because the plaques all basically say self-portrait number whatever, and again there's a amount of eyes-shaped things that you're like, all right, that's probably a picture of a person, right? And like his art's horrible. But the fact that you are surrounded by really horrible like versions of him, they all sort of stare into your soul a little more than you want. It's like it's just like
Okay.
unsettling because you're just like, why are there so many of him?
I just look at what everyone happens to be across from me, and I'm just like, you really focus on the eyes. The eyes are like my favorite part of the face. They're just so I can't think of the word, but you understand.
Of course. As many great philosophers have said, the eyes are the carriage to the soul, so it's only natural that you would be drawn to something like that. So, Mr. Ruda, what brings you to a small town like this, anyways? How did you find such a place in your quest for your muse and your inspiration? I can't imagine that this horrible little place would be something that would draw your attention.
Well, I was actually in a nearby town, and I was just trying to think where to find my inspiration. I was, tuning my instrument, just playing, trying to think of new songs to come up with. And someone mentioned that a certain tune I was playing reminded them of something they'd heard at a festival here. But
All right, what do I need to roll to stop snickering?
Um, well, okay. Are you trying to stop snickering or hide your
To
snickering?
hide the snicker.
Okay.
As
we'll
someone
do
who
that
had heard her practicing this awful noise.
Sleight of hand thing?
awful noise? I'm a musician.
I'm sure you tuned at one point, or were off tune a little bit.
Roll me a stealth check to try to
Okay.
hide that you're doing it.
Okay, 28.
Okay, yeah. He does not hear you at all. You sort of muffle it into your hand or down to the side or in your cloak as though you were coughing, and he has absolutely no idea. He says, I had no idea that my great self, all the stories of me had. He's sort of I had no idea that all these stories of myself had moved this far into the world. It's the next town, but to him, that's the edge of the world.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes.
Yeah, it's like when a Twitch streamer gets their first viewer.
Yay! Someone watches my content. Oh, it's Mom. Hi, Mom.
Yeah. I think that was very well done. All right.
Thank you. I was like, yeah, I heard there were grand festivals, and that a painter was a baron in that town, and I knew I had to see everything. When is the next festival?
Says, those damned festivals. Those I have thankfully gotten rid of. Those festivals do nothing but offer a horrible racket. All they have done is bother my art. Do you know how difficult it is to work when there is that kind of damnable music playing? Not like yours, of course. You have played better than any musician in this town could ever even hope to accomplish.
Well, thank you.
It's almost as bad as the mining they used to do around here. Can you believe that they believed that they could do that kind of thing near me? As though I'm not trying to sleep and work. No respect for those in charge who belong here.
Have you ever channeled that frustration into art? I feel like you could do some very vivid art capturing that emotion.
And he sits for a moment, he sort of looks, he's like, I've thought about it a bit. I believe I have a piece or two.
Intense, fiery piece.
Let's see He says, Runa, come with me for a moment. I have something special to show you. And he stands up about the time that the chef comes back into the room, and he's like, are you already done, my lord? He's like, oh no, please serve everyone. I shall be back in just a couple moments. And he walks past the two of you guys on the side and just sort of not nose in the air at you, but just clearly doesn't really care about you two comparatively.
I follow.
And so he goes to the staircase you see on the side and goes up the stairs.
I start quietly strumming again, just, so that my companions can hear how far away. I mean, just, my ambiance.
He gently like bobs along to the music, but as out of sync as possible. Absolutely cannot like understand the rhythm whatsoever. Like has nothing. Clearly has not ever cared about music. Like he's just like.
But you understand what I mean about the quiet like thing. Like you know how some annoying people with guitars sometimes are.
Yes.
I'm trying to be not quite that and that, but
Okay.
a little
So
bit
you're
there.
gently strumming Wonderwall as you guys go
Yes.
upstairs.
Not Wonderwall, but yeah.
Oh, Crazy Train, the other song that every guitarist plays.
Just kind of random notes that glide into each other.
So as you get to the
Smoke
top
on
of
the
the
water.
stairs, there is a locked or a door at the top that he whips out a large set of large keyring filled with far too many keys from like
Hold
the
me
amount of.
away to whip something out. You should have said keys a lot faster.
Here's my best card possible.
He whips out his dick ring, which is where he keeps all of his dicks instead of keys. No, so he pulls out a huge set of keys, which, as you might be aware, in a lot of circumstances, keys would look very similar to a lot of things, so that it would be hard to distinguish what is what unless you know. All of his are very distinctly different and gaudy and like some of the ones you see have like chipped paint, like it looks like all of them have been like painted gold and the paint is chipped and like coming off, and like he's put like not great looking gems and like the ends of them. And he inserts one and turns it and opens the door and sort of like invites you in to what looks like and what would be on your map is his like supply room and like the room where he actually does his painting in.
Okay. You said supply room?
Yes, like this is where all of his like art supplies and things like that would be.
Oh, okay, I see it. Okay.
And
Is this
roll me
your
perception.
workshop? 19.
Okay, so the first thing you see in the room is a great large canvas, like bigger than any of the ones he has done so far, with what I can only describe as like the most generically like 2000s emo phase like art. Like it's all just like black streaks everywhere with like red in there. He's painted like a really shitty skull. Like it's bad. Like it's like he's clearly trying to like put his emotions down, but like doesn't. He's just like, yeah, I've heard of anger. This is what anger looks like, right? And he's just like, you see, I knew you are the only one who could ever predict the next kind of art that I would craft. No one else could appreciate what
feeling.
I have made and understand what that would turn into. I have no name for this one yet, but it comes from the deepest well of frustration and anger I have in this world.
Depths. Wow. And to see you, one would not think that you could be this angry. You're so polite and so cordial, and to know that you felt such rage like this, truly a master.
Yeah, is there a bullshit check you can roll?
I mean, that's what bluff is.
Obviously, I'm not in that room, but it would be interesting to know if there were guards posted or anything
21
visible between the painting room and the treasury room.
So basically, like the guard is at the bottom of the staircase, and there's like the staircase goes up and then goes back on itself, and there's really nothing between that and the room above it, aside from just one locked door.
So the guard is in the dining room at the bottom of the staircase?
Yeah.
And that's
and he's
the
just
only
sort of
guard?
like, yes, and he looks very hungry as the food is being served. He's just like,
Oh, okay. Poor guard. Does the 21,
yeah.
keeping in mind that he likes me?
Oh, absolutely. Let me. Yes. Yeah. There we go. So, yeah, his face glows at all this like wonderful praise you've given him.
This painting encapsulates the rage that one justly feels When your
I'm
mom
looking
won't
at
let
it.
you have a Snickers before dinner.
I mean, yeah, essentially. So he he looks again very proud at you as you say all this nice stuff to him, and it's just like, you know, very few have understood that for all the good work that I do for this town, and not a single one of them even thinks anything of that of me. I mean, I tell you, I've done everything I can for them, and they just, I can barely go into town without jeers from everyone. Hatred and anger. It's what made me understand what this kind of anger is to put on this canvas. It's what made me understand. He doesn't seem particularly verbose considering the way he talks.
Familiarity breeds contempt. We barely know you at all. That's why we like you so much.
You're not wrong. You know, you seem like someone who, or you have shown, of course, that you are someone who can appreciate art like I can. I will say I'm not just a creator of art. I am a collector. Many of those I don't show off, of course, because although my paintings are worth far more, I can replace those quite easily, so I don't have to worry too much. But some of these pieces are, well, let me show you my favorite one. And he goes over to his bookshelf, and it's in like the top left-hand corner, or the northwest corner of his room.
Okay.
And moves a couple things to the side, like, you know, moves a couple books and reaches back behind them and pulls out what appears to be a jade box.
Ding, ding, ding.
Described, or like exactly as it had been described to you. And he stands with his back to you, and roll me like perception to see what you can perceive from him.
14.
14? Okay. So you can't see what he's doing, but you hear a couple clicks, about like 4 or 5. And before he like presses a button and the box pops open.
I rolled a 16. Can I hear anything more from down in the dining room?
No. But only because you're in the dining room and a whole room away, and it's stone between you guys, and the guard's blocking the sound. We'll say that. And he turns, or he sets the box down, and reaches in and pulls something out and turns to you and presents to you a roughly 6 or 7 inch tall opal statue of a very beautiful lady.
Oh.
Which you would recognize from Tim's stories of the centerpiece of the town.
Mm-hmm.
This is beautiful.
Indeed. Once I saw this, I knew I had to have it for my own. Although I regret to have had to lie to the townspeople to make it. As I'm sure you would agree, art must be with the people who can appreciate it. And they throw food and things on it. They have their festivals and they just throw stuff to it. They wouldn't understand how wonderful it could be. But this is my muse. This is what I use to peer into my soul and create. It's why it is the most important thing I have.
This is the one from the square? Ah, it is good that you keep it safe. Such a piece of art deserves to be appreciated, and I'm glad that you understand this.
Do roll me a bluff check for that real quick.
$29.
Okay, excellent. He rolled a nat 20 and you beat him by like 15. He sort of furrows his brow for a moment as you start, but as soon as you're like, it is good that you brought it here, he's just like, I knew you would understand. Please, you are welcome here anytime. You are the one who can, I believe you are the one who is going to allow me to create art unlike anything I've ever made before.
I believe you have given me the inspiration that I was seeking. Now I will be able to play and come up with new material as I haven't for many months.
I believe we're gonna have an incredible partnership. But first, dinner awaits. My stomach is, of course, giving me a little bit of a noise. Let us move. And he sets the statue, there we go, back into the box. Very gingerly. From what little you can see over his shoulder, it looks like the box is essentially like custom made to hold that statue perfectly.
Okay. Do I see what kind of locking mechanism it has?
Yes. It looks like, as it was described, a like 3-number lock, like the kind of rolling locks that have like 3 digits that you roll.
Do I notice what the digits are currently while it's open?
Actually, roll me another perception check as he's putting it away.
A better number.
A nat 20, 28.
Let's see.
I mean, nat 20 skill doesn't actually do anything.
I know, but I'm explaining why I was excited about my dice.
It doesn't do anything, but it feels good.
Mm-hmm. Just like nat 1ing a skill doesn't really do anything, except
is
to make
very
you feel
good.
bad.
Because I've had nat 1 rolls this
Yeah.
game.
Tim too.
I've had 2 of them.
You need
Yes, you
different
said
dice.
Tim
You are able to make out the code.
Please don't say that near him.
Yes, what do I make out of the code?
It is 001.
It's the combination on my luggage.
Possibly the second combination that anybody in the world would attempt. And he sort of, like, you see him put it back in and just shuffle them around a little bit. Literally barely. Like, he moves each one, like, 2 at most.
So it's like 914 now.
Yeah, like, basically. And he, like, except it's more like 110. Like, or like 119, and he, like, in his head he's just like, no one would guess this, and like,
Nobody.
Sets it back behind his books and like moves them back in the way. And he's like, come, let's go, and like opens the door and like gestures free to continue in.
I go through, head back towards where the food was.
You also notice that there were no guards in this room.
Okay. Was there a lock on this door? Yes, there was. I remember
Yes.
he unlocked it. Did I notice? Well, does he lock it behind him?
Yes.
What are the colors of the key?
It is a silver key with a sapphire, with 2 sapphire gems attached to it, on the same side.
What kind of door is it?
What
What kind of door is it?
It looks like reinforced wood, like wood with like metal bar, or not bars, but like metal filigree kind of going across to like help strengthen it a bit.
Okay.
You had a good thing with the wood door. Why did you ruin it with metal?
Because he knows what character you made.
I mean, it's not like it's reinforced by that much. That's a weird way for it to copy and paste, but okay.
Oh, thanks. I wrote that in my notes.
I wrote it in my notes.
Yeah, I'll try to keep stuff in like the information tab so we can like keep an eye on it whenever we need to. So yeah, he comes back down, and he like. Okay, real quick. What have the 2 of you been doing while he's been gone?
I have been looking
Eating
around.
roasted beef.
And I kept the music so they can hear us coming back.
Excellent. I appreciate that as your method. So you guys have like a good
No,
like
kind of
2
my
or 3
whole
minutes.
like plan. The whole.
That's clever.
All right. Since how long? Well, whatever. I'm going to stand up because I'm assuming the food is not here yet because the Baron is not here.
No, the food came as they were leaving.
Okay.
And he told the chef to put it out anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to look at the guard and say, it would be rude for me to eat this without the Baron here, wouldn't it?
He says, I mean, I don't think he cares at this point. I mean, maybe save some of it. I don't know. You can tell he's like, he doesn't really understand that kind of etiquette. He's just here to make sure nobody does anything.
Yeah.
It is a very good beefed roast.
One question for you. Was there a guard in the gallery?
Yes.
Okay, so I did see a guard in the gallery.
How many guards did I see as we went from the food to the supply room?
There
You
was just
essentially
the
saw
one at the bottom of
guard
the
on the stairs. You've seen one in the gallery and one in the entrance hall. As you looked outside earlier to look at the garden, you see one guard in there. So you've seen a total of 4
Garden
guards.
in the garden?
I was gonna say it if she didn't.
Garden the garden.
Like my pun's intended.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I don't foresee needing to have done anything. So, I mostly waited.
Tim, do you just start chowing down?
Yeah.
It's very good roasted beef. I mean, it's pretty high quality. It's probably some of the best that you've had, unless you were able to steal some previously.
Nice.
And so after a couple of minutes, Tim, you probably haven't like finished it, like you're most of the way done. You guys hear the music approaching a
Through
little
a common
bit.
platter that he's eaten all of.
Saying,
With his portion, or is there just a common platter?
oh
and
no,
he's
with his portion.
okay.
He's like getting near the end and sort of eyeing everyone else's food that hasn't been eaten yet. So after a couple minutes, you hear the sound of music growing a little closer and the door opening again. And a couple moments later, and I mean, it's pretty obvious where the guy is because you can hear all of his footsteps because there's a lot of him to leave footsteps of.
When
I mean,
he walks, the
he
very
stops.
ground shakes.
I forgot something to ask, but that's, it's too late.
What were you?
I was gonna say another thing to the guard.
Oh, yeah,
but-
go for it.
Okay. You mentioned that the guard looked really hungry, so I was gonna look at the guard and be like, "Hey, you look pretty hungry. How much longer, until, your shift ends?"
Here for another 4 hours or so. Sorry, it's just, I mean, we get food, it's not that food.
It's not this.
He says, sort of eyeing that roasted beef.
You want a little?
He looks around a little nervously. He's like, "Oh no, I could never take from one of the Baron's distinguished guests."
And I kind of gesture to my clothes, and I'm like, "I'm distinguished? Since when?"
Roll me diplomacy, maybe?
Okay. Ah, cool. 15.
He sort of looks around. He's like, "All right, perhaps a bite," and comes over and tries like gingerly picks up the silverware sitting next to you and tries to slice off like the thinnest possible slice he can.
It's okay, man. You've got 4 more hours. Go ahead. Go for it.
Thank you, sir. You are perhaps the kindest man to have entered, or the kindest woman to have entered this lord's house. And cuts off like a significantly bigger chunk and cuts up into a couple pieces and like eats a couple with a fork. And upon hearing the door open, just kind of like looks around, grabs a couple in his palm, and just like puts it behind his back and walks over to his post. And like,
Excellent.
as the Baron walks back in and walks past him, you see him like put his other hand behind his back and pop a piece into his mouth,
Good.
chewing as little as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks like he's almost trying to swallow them without chewing,
Yeah.
just because he doesn't want them to go away. And so, as the Baron comes back down, you hear him loudly talking to Runa still about the great things, and he's like, I am certain that the two of us can create wonderful things. And he sort of turns and sees you guys like, you all are still here. I had forgotten about that. Very well. Looks a little disappointed that like he can't just hang out with Runa more by himself. And walks back to his side of the table and begins eating. And throughout the next couple minutes of him eating very loudly, very horridly, like talking with his mouth full, like not slowing down whatsoever, sort of asks some questions, just general questions of like where Runa is from and everything. And you pretty much notice that there is no questions for the two of you.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I figured.
Seems like the best course of action at the moment.
I'm definitely okay with that.
I also resume my seat and eat and BS small talk.
Yes. Let me see what your... Yeah, okay. You have the charisma to small talk quite easily.
Yeah.
And so, once you all finish, he like leans back in his chair, obviously satisfied, and is just like, well, it was wonderful to meet all of you, of course. But alas, I have some important work I must do. And he sort of looks upward, but it's pretty obvious that he's like looking towards his like the room he was just in, like as though he's being mysterious. And just like, so as much as I would love to have you guys here still, like very much not interested. It's just like, I must ask that you leave me be so that I may continue. Miss Runa, of course, I would be privileged if you were to stay and accompany me as I continued.
Perhaps another time, but we have taken advantage of your hospitality long enough already. The food was delightful, and the art was fantastic. Thank you so much for letting us see it. But we must attend to our arrangements for the evening, and I would not dare to get in the way of such a genius at his work.
Well, you flatter me too much. I thank you.
I agree.
For all of the things you have said. Yeah, I agree. And so,
I didn't say that in game.
as he and the guards like follow you all to the front, he says, "Oh, one last question, Miss Runa, Lady Runa. I apologize. If I may be so bold, where are you going to be here for the next couple of days?"
Probably. My plans are not fully made yet. Just probably gonna walk around a little bit, see more of this fine landscape that inspired you.
Inspired. Says, well, I know more than any how incorrigible the townsfolk can be, and of course how messy the living situation is among there. If it would do you well, please come back tonight, and I'll have a spare room set up for you so that you may sleep in the types of places you deserve to sleep in, and not with the rabble.
You are too kind. I would hate to take advantage. I don't want to be a burden on anyone.
Oh, no, it is no disadvantage, or no, you are not taking advantage whatsoever, no burden. In fact, I am certain your mere presence in this house would bring me the inspiration I need to create the art that people need to see.
I appreciate that. I don't wish to impose, but would there be anywhere for Svir to stay as well? He doesn't do well alone.
Yes, of course. I will have lodging set up for him as well. There's no need for him to be alone.
Thank you. You're too kind. I suppose then I shall just walk around and view the town. About what time would be okay for me to return?
Whatever time is easiest for you. Please, if you want to come back for dinner, I shall have food ready for you as well. But just come back at your leisure, so long as it is before do they have time? Like, can I say 10 o'clock? Is that?
Sure.
I don't care. You're the
Yeah.
DM.
No reason not to.
I guess they have clocks and these kinds
Yeah.
of things.
What time is it when we entered the place?
It was
You're
probably
actually
around
down at
like 1 p.m. at latest. Like by the time
Alright.
you got into the manor.
About 1 when we got in, and how long were we doing stuff in there before I asked the guard when his shift ends?
Honestly, only about like 20 minutes.
Okay. So
Too long.
they
His chef center around 5:30 then.
Probably more like 5, we'll say.
okay.
Okay.
He
And
doesn't
I-
have a clock on him, so he just
I'm-
has to.
I am
estimate.
assuming that I did not notice any changing of the guard during that time.
No.
Okay.
Well, then I will see you again this evening, and thank you again.
Of course, I await your presence. And bows very ostentatiously. Is that correct? Very over the top bow,
Mhm.
especially considering you're not really sure. Like, it's almost impressive that he bowed as well as he did, considering like his
He's a
size. Like, he
proud
did not
Baron.
topple over.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Pretentiously.
Yes.
I suppose I exit. I'm like, come on, Sphere.
Have I spent at least an hour in this location?
We'll say yes.
I love these questions.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's such a way for the DM to be like, "Why do you ask?"
Are there any balconies or landings on the second floor where the painting room was?
Oh,
Would you
before
like to
I
do a,
before I leave the
perception
Baron,
check? Oh, yeah.
as I said, I don't want to interrupt you on your way back to your work, but do you mind if me and my companions just go around the building? This architecture is very inspiring to me, and I would like to just quietly view it in my thoughts.
Says, yes, the one of the few pieces of art on my estate that I did not craft, but one that can be appreciated all the same. Yes. Give me a moment and I shall have one of our guards accompany you around to show you all the magnificent work. And, he claps his hands once more, and the chef comes back in with a guard, and he's just like, "Guard, please follow them around to show them the wonderful art." And like the chef's like, "Oh, okay, not me, cool." Like, it doesn't seem like he has a code for these. Like, he just sort of like
Oh, no.
claps, and everyone who might need to show up comes.
I thought this was going somewhere else. Like, he claps and the chef brings him whatever it is he thinks he wants.
He claps, the chef brings out a silver platter, opens it up, a guard is there, and it's just like, huh. Nah, so, guard sort of like begrudgingly, and it's actually the one from the dining room, and he sort of like nods with you with his hands like in front of him, and hands like tightly gripped to the side, and he nods and follows you outside, and the moment you like cross the barrier of the door and turn around the wall, you see him reach into his other hand and pop another piece of meat into his mouth.
Excellent.
All right. So, anyways, I am doing a DC 20 engineering check to case the joint. It's one of my social talents,
Nice.
and
Excellent.
rolled 14 plus 7. I succeed.
Can I roll to assist on that?
No.
I mean, he already
I-
succeeded, so
Yeah. I don't think you could, anyways.
let's see.
Technically, for every 10 by which I succeed, by which I exceed 20, then I gain an additional reroll.
And what did you roll?
21. So I didn't get any additional ones. Would Tim helping A be possible and B count towards increasing that number?
You said, would what count towards increasing?
Tim assisting.
Assisting would only be a +2, so it wouldn't
Okay.
get high enough for
Yeah.
it to matter.
Then yeah, no.
Okay, so you succeed in casing the joint, so you'll have one additional reroll later on
Mhm.
within the next
Hi.
week.
My, what charming yet rustic architecture.
Do you guys want to roll me perception checks or
Yes.
knowledge engineering or whatever else kind of thing you would want to understand more of the area.
That's 26 for me.
I have a map question for you.
Okay, go on.
It looks like the front door is in the lounge.
I rolled a perception of 22.
That's just because of like the mapping system I use. There is a like side door in the lounge, but the main door is really in like the entrance hall area.
Okay,
Just between the two windows.
like at the south,
Yes.
coming straight in. Okay, cool.
Thank you for that. I actually did not ever like catch that.
Yeah, I wanted to double check. So we are currently in the entrance hall.
You sort of like you've just walked outside the entrance hall to like the front lawn area.
Gotcha.
Knowledge engineering to figure out how easy this building would be to climb.
So it looks. I would say it's neither difficult nor super easy, but with like really any experience in climbing through like climbing stone walls, this shouldn't be too difficult. Let's see. In fact, I would say you feel pretty okay about it. I like you look at it and you're like, yeah, I could probably do that.
Okay, and
You wouldn't
were there
wanna
any?
rush, but you'd be able to do it fine normally.
Yeah, were there any landings or anything like that on the second floor?
So there
Landing,
are
balcony.
what I will
or
tell you
not.
is, so you see there are a total of 3 floors in the building. It's first floor, as you see there, all 4 rooms. The second and third floor are just like 2 towers on the north and south end of the building. And so at the top of them, it looks like what are those sections called on a castle where it like has the like spikes coming up like a rook?
Parapet?
Crenellations?
Fucking
Crenellations, that's it.
battlements.
Okay. That's what you're talking about. Yes, battlements would be
Yes.
the correct term.
Yeah, so it's like that sort of thing sitting on top of each of them. You see, like, the windows that you see in each floor do line up to, like, the floor map that you guys had. From here, it's really difficult to see anything between, or, like, through the windows because of how, like, high up they are.
Yeah.
And you do notice, like, a rope going from the third floor of one side to the second floor of the other side with just a whole section of flags on them.
Okay.
Sort of just like from one window to another.
Okay, so what that tells us is that you can access the building from the roof.
Yes. If you can fly. Can you fly?
I
I'm
can
assuming
climb.
you're all doing this quietly since you have a guard hanging out with you.
Yeah,
Can I
No,
just? Oh,
that
what do I roll
that
to
was
small
me
talk the
being
guard?
sarcastic to Tim, not.
I don't know.
What do I roll to small talk the guard while they're doing this? Because I don't have anything useful here.
To be like friendly, I would say just roll like diplomacy to just sort of
Diplomacy.
like talk to him about everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm assuming that I don't need to do that because I've already influenced him to be more positive towards me.
Yeah.
15. It was a
yeah.
bad
I don't need to
as-
fly. I just need to climb with you tied to my back.
You just talk to him a bit about like, you know, how it is being a guard and everything. You know, he's sort of like seems a bit surprised that you're talking with him, considering like how buddy you had gotten with the Baron, and how usually that means that person is probably not very nice. So he's a little, he's
Gotcha.
very like overly polite in response because he's thrown off a bit by like how you talk. But I mean, he
Okay.
seems very kind.
That rope. How securely does it look mounted?
It looks like it is tied. There's like sort of like a flagpole kind of thing sticking out, but it's just like just a little bit with a hook underneath the two windows, and the rope has been like secured by tied to those two.
Okay. But it looks like it could hold more than just flags?
Yes.
Okay.
Like there's a bit of dip between it. Like it's not perfectly tight, obviously, but I mean it looks like solid rope, and it looks like it has more than enough room for it.
Okay. And it's solidly attached.
Yep.
It looks
While
like
I'm
an acrobatics
talking with
check.
him about being a guard, I'm sympathetic. I'm much more, I'm not bluffing this time. I can actually just be like human working life is rough, blah blah blah. Just like, how long do you have to stand there watching him live?
He says, well, it's been about 20 years of my life.
Oof.
It's
Do you at least
it's
get to
alright.
have
It
like
pays.
small doses? Do you like only like 4 hours a day maybe with long breaks, or are you like there all the time?
I mean, it's 8 hours a shift for each of us. Sometimes, I mean, a lot of time we have to pull doubles if there's not enough guards. Considering how often he chases them off, it's been rough for a month or so, but it's all right.
I can imagine he doesn't seem to appreciate the good people that he has. That food was amazing, and you're all very polite to him. Must take some work. Seems like he could get tiring after too much time.
He says, "Yeah, I agree. You seem like you enjoyed his company, certainly, though." He's like, "Roll me sense motive."
I roll sense motive.
Yes.
25.
Okay, so from what you can tell, he's looking a little nervous now, in that he's not sure anymore whether or not you are his like the nobleman's friend, or if you like also kind of hate him. In that, if you are the nobleman's friend, he can be a little like at ease around you because he doesn't have to worry that you're gonna do anything. But now he's sort of like, well, wait, is she lying to him? That seems
Gotcha.
weird, right? But clearly this guy's not like a high-ranking guard, so he's just kind of like, you just see his eyes kind of dart around a bit as he like looks like he's trying to like put a couple pieces together.
Michael, don't get me wrong. I did enjoy talking with him. He's a great person to visit. I just imagine living with such a strong personality all the time could be exhausting. It's like always being on your best behavior. I can't imagine being a guard.
He sort of bows and he's like, well, thank you, ma'am. I do appreciate your appreciation, I suppose, of us in these sort of positions. Truth be told, he's not the worst to work with, I'm sure. Sort of like he's heard from others maybe that they're worse, but like he has no proof. He's just he pays us well, and I appreciate sort of what he's done with us or done for us. So where else can I show you all around? I can show you some of the outer garden if you'd like.
I have two questions. First question, yes. I failed to listen. Are we staying here tonight? Like, are all three of us, or is it just you two? Or
a room was offered to Runa. She asked for a room for Sver, and a room was granted.
Okay, cool.
And
gotcha.
I'm guessing in the servants' quarters.
I have no idea. I just figured that we originally played it up that you weren't part of my group.
Yes.
And I figured having someone on the outside was ideal.
Just trying to figure out what's happening again. That answers both of my questions.
Yeah, the servants' housing is right outside the wall. Walls aren't a problem for me.
Taking a look around the inside of his grounds, what does the guardship look like? We know there's the one guard posted at the gate. Maybe two, one inside taking a break sitting down in case the main one has to walk away.
Yeah, like where the gate is, there's sort of like a room in the like tower area right next to it. That's clearly like where the second guard is, like, or like where they switch out. Um, Aside from that, there's a guard in front of, like, at the front door of his house, and that's about it.
Um, can you show us around the manor? Perhaps a different angle.
Why, certainly, madam. Please come this way. And he brings you over to.
You don't have to madam me.
Begging your pardon, milady, but I certainly do. And without
I
another word, sort of.
just kind of grin and shrug.
So he brings you to like the southwestern corner of the inner wall area, where there's like a nice little sort of garden area. There's some nice like hedges and trees, sort of like it's like the only other spot in the grounds that has any sort of like merit whatsoever. But it's pretty nice. Like, it is a nice place to like walk around, and there's like a seating area and like small fountain.
Okay.
It's not like a whole lot much, like, as far as you can tell, there's not like a whole lot extra to this manor. It's pretty simple, considering like he is a baron, which is like the lowest level of nobility that you can have in this spot. Like, he was given the most simple manner that would make a man like him happy.
Is the fountain art at all? Like, is there art in the center of it, or is it just like the little, like, look like bird feeder stacked?
They're
bird bath stacked.
It's basically the like just the like.
Okay, yeah.
It's that, but it's like kind of old and chipped, and like
Is
it doesn't
it
look
flowing?
like he's. Say again?
Is it flowing?
Yes, from 3 out of the 4 sides.
Okay.
It's trickling out the 4th side. He doesn't seem to come to this area often enough to care.
I
So
really
it
wanted
used to be tasteful, which tells us that he didn't put it here.
take a look at the east side of the manor.
You said it's afternoon?
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
about
1:30.
Okay. So the east side would be in relative shade.
Yeah, so east side of the manor, like from what you can see from here, there's really not anything there. It's about 20 feet or so between the manor and the outer wall.
Okay, the main thing I was looking for is, one, is there a guard at the side door?
Yes.
Okay. Because you mentioned that there was a guard at the front door. You did not mention a side door.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Then yeah.
Is there a guard on patrol?
No, not that you see.
Are there guards on the walls at all?
There's one at the like front two, like on the front two
Yeah.
things that I can't remember. Not like next to the gate, but like the ones on the like very southwestern and southeastern towers.
Okay.
Okay, so if we come in from the north, no one's going to see us.
How tall is the manor compared to the outside walls?
Manor has a total of about 35 to 40 feet tall.
Okay.
The outer walls themselves are. I have this written down.
You said earlier, I just didn't.
I can't remember if they're 10 feet or 20 feet. I think they're 10.
10
So they're shorter than the manor.
Apparently, I don't have it written down on that. We'll split the difference and just say 15 to make it easy.
Cool.
Okay.
Last question is, you mentioned that there were battlements at the top of the manor. Are there guards on the battlements?
No.
Okay. Well, I mean, clearly my welcome is over.
How thick are the outer walls?
I'd say
The
about
perimeter wall.
a normal thickness, which is
Is it for walking on top of? Or is
no.
it just a wall? Then probably
Okay.
a foot. Probably a foot, maybe 2 at the most.
Yeah, I'll say 2.5.
And they're stone?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. After looking about at the architecture a little bit more, I was like, well, thank you. This was a very pleasant walk. I see what he means about the external being a little bit less art than the inside, but still good art nonetheless.
Thank you. I'll escort you to the gate if you would like, and I'm sure I'll make sure the guards understand that to allow you back in, or to escort you back in once you come back from your walk around town.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course. And so he, of course, walks you to the gates, and once you're out, they just close the gates. It's like essentially it's not a portcullis, it's the like closing metal gates. It's like what you'd see in like a fancy house nowadays kind of thing.
Okay.
And like they're swung shut and then like chained together along with like a key.
Okay. Walk a ways away.
Yeah.
First thing we need to find in town, some anesthetic you can mix into his wine.
No. First thing we need to find is an inn for me.
Yes. Did you want an inn? Oh, an inn. Gotcha.
Yes.
I'm assuming no one's around. We're pretty much clear of your shot.
Yeah, like you see the servants' quarter on your left as you walk out, and it's a good like 50 feet away from the side of the road.
Okay.
Or more. Like it is very much the like tucked away, let's not talk or think about this because this is a fancy man who doesn't, we don't talk or think about the servants, the help.
Looking around the surrounding like Lord's Lane, what are the shops like?
So Lord's Lane mostly is like governmental official areas. Like there's like a sheriff's office and a couple places for like essentially like not notary type stuff, but like that sort of like paperwork kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like what a governor's office would be, and that like clearly this guy is like in charge of the city, but
all of the government happens out here.
Yeah, like he doesn't care to do it, so he's just hired someone else to do it.
We walked in on the crafting into the crafting district on Lilac Street.
Lilac Street.
What was that area shop look like? I mean, obviously crafting, but just a bunch of
you would pass by. You notice like the blacksmithing, like the blacksmith shop is like the furthest one from the manor. Like it is as far away as possible. And didn't look particularly active. You also see a couple, just like you see like an alchemist, like not like potions necessarily, but like olden time potion or like medicine.
Apothecary.
Yes, thank you.
When we looked down, there was the square. When we looked down Pole Street, what did that area look like?
So that one seemed a lot more robust. Like there's a lot more people like rumbling around in it. It's hard to like see the shops from where you were at.
Is that a more residential area, or?
It looks like yes and no. In that, yes, residential. In that, their house is often like above the shop that they run.
Yeah.
So it ends up being both the residential area and just the general marketplace.
Okay. I suggest we go towards back down Pole Street. Maybe just to the square. We'll probably find a good tavern there.
Okay. Does this seem like a good time to tell them what all I saw? Like where...
Oh yeah, you should be good now. There's no guards or anything.
I explained which room it was in. That was behind a couple books.
Okay.
What it looks like.
The code.
The code, yeah.
And as expected, and based on your previous floor plans, those ropes do go directly to that room.
Yeah. All right. Back in the square, is there a good tavern nearby?
Yes. So as you move your way down Pole Street, that little like section tucked in where the Market District sign is, that that one building in the very, very back is where you'll find the inn, and that is the Treacherous Warlock.
Treacherous Warlock.
Okay.
So, is Runa the kind of person who would seduce a mark?
If I could see doing it, I was actually kind of thinking that I should entertain him somewhere not in his workroom.
Have you considered Twitch TOS?
I'm not suggesting anything goes that far, but if he were to have a little too much to drink tonight and you were to help him to his bedroom and just happen to see some records lying around while you're up there when it's just the two of you.
Absolutely. I think that we should plan on me being with him most of the night, perhaps the whole night. Depends what our exit plan is.
So
what I'm thinking is whatever, sometime dead of night, like 2 a.m., I put a hole in the north wall, very quietly.
Can you quietly put a hole in a wall?
Yes.
Unfortunately, he can.
Oh, gosh.
So, I put a hole in that wall. Kamashi and I climb the north tower, descend to the second...
Kimchi.
Kimchi, sorry. Did I say kimchi?
We're talking about.
Kimchi.
That might be how
kimchi.
it's pronounced, but that's not how he pronounces it.
Okay. So.
How does he pronounce his name? What is it? Sphere?
I just say sphere.
Sphere.
I was gonna say, if you named your
fair.
character Sphere, I would immediately rocks fall then.
Okay.
But yeah, so I put a hole in the north wall. I carry Kamshi up to the top of the north tower, and then we both go down to the second floor and get the jade thingamabobber.
All right, so I'm ignoring all this conversation while I get a room.
So
how much per night? I'm assuming you're looking it up.
Standard end rate.
Yeah.
Okay, so bro, while we're doing that, you manage the night's entertainment, and at about 2 o'clock, hopefully while he's fast asleep with something we might procure at the apothecary, you climb the ropes up to the third floor, and I take all of us back down, and we just leave out the north wall.
Leave through the hole you made.
Right.
We don't
the
know.
hole I make being so that if something goes wrong and a guard spots us, we can leave in a hurry.
5 silver, John.
5 silver. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't know what kind of guard setup he has at night, though.
Does that contain board as well, or is that just room?
What's the difference?
Board
room
is
is a place to sleep. Board is
Board is a
everything
plate.
else. Yeah. Board is your plate for food.
Oh, okay. I was like, I thought room and board was just your room and also your room. I never.
No.
It does. It's sort of like not continental breakfast, but like that kind of quality. Like it's just like the most base food.
Yeah. It's whatever
Porridge.
stew they have going.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna cough up 5 silver, and then relog into my
Character sheet.
character sheet so I
Yep.
can actually change it because it didn't take. And then take us all up to the room. And
What would the
now let's. Oh, I sit down on the bed and I look at them and I'm like, all right, now let's plan.
I thought we were on the road. I had asked if we were on the road away from everyone.
Well, yeah, you were like
I
on
was-
your way to there, and it's not that far of a walk.
we were where we weren't going to be easily eavesdropped.
I figured you weren't being loud either.
All right, so we have a number of ways we can take this. Let me pull this one open. Obviously, I think the flag rope path is a good choice. Either getting from the painting room to the bedroom or vice versa. So I think that's kind of an obvious choice we should take, just to limit the amount of potential interactions we have. Additionally, that's a number of doors we don't have to open one way or the other. Because while I can pick locks, it takes time, and sometimes it doesn't work.
I don't pick locks per se, but I can open a couple doors, but I'm probably not with you when this happens.
That is...
I can open doors, but I can only do it
I like
quietly so many
to
times.
knock.
Yeah.
Second level spell.
So we have a little bit more time. I'm a little bit worried about your whole plan. In case, we did not see a guard walking the walls, but we were only there for an hour, and there's 23 more of those in a day. So even if a guard walks once a day, we weren't even there for a whole shift. Maybe they walk at the beginning of their shift or the end of their shift. So I think we need to take another day to really scope things out for sure, before we put any holes in walls.
That's a good point. I just don't look forward to another whole day. Oh gosh, a whole day.
And probably another night.
Well, you don't have to spend every night with him.
I won't. Oh, well, if we're doing this like on the second night, I'm not going anywhere except the workroom tonight.
Yeah.
We might fool our creativity, but that's it.
I didn't see any guards outside of the manor, so it's probably safe if, Svera, if you can maybe hang out at the fountain or something, nearby that day, just to see, maybe a changing of the guard or two, just to see what happens when things happens, if it really is clockwork, or if there's like an hour difference sometimes between those happening. See if people actually walk the walls.
This is a mostly unrelated question. Dom, what kind of armor were these guards wearing, or was it all ceremonial stuff?
So, weirdly enough, it seemed that the guards were all... They didn't have, like, a common set of armor. Like, each one was kind of wearing what seemed to be basically, like, the best they could afford. So, the one that went with you guys around, like, from the kitchen was wearing chainmail. And it looked pretty beat up, but it was serviceable. It worked. It just obviously had been repaired more than once.
So the question becomes, do we go top down or bottom up?
That's the way I like to steal.
If we go top down, then that implies that either Tim climbs up and lets down a rope, or maybe Runa convinces people to let her out onto the battlements and lets down a rope or something.
Was there a battlement near the bedroom area?
Directly above it.
Directly above it.
Yeah, it's on top of the third. On top of the third floor.
I could probably manage that. Did I bring rope? I did not.
I can give you some. I was looking to see. I can get in a window, so we could go in ground floor from the north in the dining room, and then go up the stairs there to the real treasure room, up the flags to the records, and then back out the way we came. Exfiltrate. Or we could do a combination of the two and come in from the roof and then leave through the gallery or the front door, you know.
Speaking of the treasury, are we gonna do as our person asks and leave everything else?
All right, Dom. Appraisal
Okay.
is what is offered good? Like, I mean, obviously it's a lot of money, but
yes.
is it what one would expect for a job like this?
I would actually say it's a little bit higher than what would be expected for a job like this.
Okay.
It like, by your guess, the items that you are procuring are like worth significantly less, but they have a like.
Yeah, they're like socially better.
Or-
It's like
yeah.
it's like how
For
the Mona
another
Lisa
reason.
actually sucks, but because it's been stolen a
Exactly.
bunch of times, it's worth anything at all.
Exactly.
It's
So
garbage.
it's that sort of thing that you're understanding. So that there's that, and the fact that like they're asking you to like not like they're asking you to restrain yourself from stealing other things, probably for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you can do so if you would like, but it is also like if that gets back to your contact, it's like a betrayal of trust, essentially.
Okay.
I
But
do.
the amount that you're getting is like significantly more than you've gotten from any
We're
job.
compensated for it then.
I'm a little curious why our contact wants the receipt for the box the Opal lady is being kept in.
Indeed.
Likewise.
Odd thing to ask for.
Runa, I think we should leave the treasure as is, but we were instructed to leave the treasure as is.
Yes, I
However,
did notice that.
There are
Odds
certain
and
other
ends
things.
might go missing.
I don't think odds and ends should be left or should be dealt with at all. Let's leave that. I think there are things that are considered by some to be a treasure that if we have the chance ought to be dealt with.
So
It might
I don't
even raise the
disagree.
value of the property.
Oh god. You don't understand. I think stealing all of his work would make him think.
No.
Would only give him more confidence.
No. That's not at all
No.
what I'm thinking. What
He's
I'm
gonna
thinking
sabotage it.
is that maybe we provide ourselves a diversion as we escape. Paints are usually flammable.
We're supposed to leave the treasury intact, and the painting room is directly below it.
The gallery isn't.
Yes, it is.
That one. The big
Yeah.
one isn't.
The long gallery doesn't have a second floor.
And this is a largely stone manor, which means odds are fire's gonna go out before anything bad happens.
You're right. The building would probably be okay.
So, what if we do a vertical infiltration? Either Tim climbs up, knocks in a P-tin, and I climb up the rope, or some variant of that. I mean, I can climb too. I have a climb speed.
So say, aren't you
Yeah,
both?
that's true.
Yeah, Tim, I actually
at
have
climbing?
climb speed.
But Tim is a capable climber, isn't he? I don't
My
know
plus
anything
10
about-
says yes.
Okay.
It would take me
2 rounds to climb that. Without
Without a rope.
Without a rope. 1 round with a rope. Do you even have to roll a check if you're using just your climb speed?
No. In much the same way that a swim check, like, you don't have to roll to swim. You also don't have to roll to walk. Like, you have a climb speed, so you just climb. You would only need to roll if you are doing, like
at a...
like,
at an angle,
exactly.
or
But the climb speed, even then, would still allow you, like, a bonus on your climb checks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
should Kemchi then be the one to drop the rope?
I mean, it's not even necessary. It'll take 2 rounds. I mean,
so that sphere can definitely be up there.
Oh, sorry. You said Kemchi, which is me.
Yes.
Yes,
You
that would probably be the best way of doing
Rotting
it.
cabbage.
Controlled rotting.
Flavor.
So, if we did a vertical infiltration, I climb up, drop a rope for Sphere. We go down into the, hopefully, records. Rummage in there until we get it. Go through the flag rope down to the painting room. What kind of check would it be to go across that rope?
That would be acrobatics if you're trying to, like, tightrope it. But you could also use climb to sort of hang underneath it. And,
I was thinking monkey climb over, especially
That
since it's
you
not
would,
a tight rope.
That you would also, like, even you would need a roll for the climb, but I mean, you have confidence.
So, would it be best for him to be asleep in his bedroom when you're rummaging, or
probably,
or should he be somewhere else entirely?
At the time we're coming, he said to come back at around 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's...
But you're talking about doing this tomorrow night, not tonight.
Yes, I know. People don't just
for
throw
a while,
numbers out of their ass.
For a while, I was worried you guys were doing tonight, and I was like, I mean, all right.
Let's just get it over with right now. Do it.
You're like, yeah, let's just go.
1 heist per stream.
My assumption is it's gonna be like each heist takes about 2 streams, like 1 for planning and setup, and 1 to, like, get it through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I still think we need a little bit more setup, but if we can, like, actually set a plan in stone, or at least wax.
Right, no, that's why I'm trying to figure out where should he be. So should he be asleep?
Either asleep or not in his bedroom. But not in his painting room.
Right, and those are the 2 places he'd be most likely to be. So we'll have to get him asleep, and we'll have to avoid guards.
Yeah.
Everyone roll me a perception check.
Okay.
28.
9.
Math's hard. 25.
Everyone but Sphere hears a floorboard creak, like, directly outside of the door of the room you guys are in.
Okay. Is there a window to this room?
No.
Dang it. I'm like not even on the outdoors. Man, this.
Yes, outdoors. Just not like I'm in the doorway.
I'm so glad that this room is up to code. You know, it's not a bedroom unless it has.
Sorry, this game has acrobatics, so it is a game because you can use that to jump.
Thank you. Yes. I'm going to. Svera, check the door, and then I'm going to open the door and vault out the window.
Wait, open the door and vault out the window?
Sorry, open the window, vault out the window so I can run around to the front of the building.
Okay, so
Okay, I go check the door.
you open the door to see the you basically see the hem of someone's of like what appears to be like a young girl's dress as she like turns the corner and runs down the stairs. Do you give chase?
Yeah, I'll at least go see who it was.
Someone gonna tell me what I'm looking for?
Well, you're outside.
Out the window?
Yeah.
I said, some kid in a
I
dress.
dropped a trick on Tim, Chain of Eyes, so that I can see what he sees, and I follow Kimchi.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
I follow you and try and catch up to you and let you know what we've seen so far.
Gotcha. So I have an idea what the hymn is. I'm going to send you around back to see if there's a back door.
Me around back?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, Tim, as you run downstairs,
Split
At the
the
bottom.
party.
well, yeah, not too badly though. This
No.
should be okay. As you run downstairs, there is you see the hem once again slip out the front door, but barring your path is an agitated drunkard. Roll me either an intimidate to get him out of your way, or a sleight of hand to steal the bottle and throw it away.
As
Or
funny
some-
as that would be, I'm gonna do the intimidate.
All right.
20, non-natural.
Excellent. So you sort of go
Out of
like,
my way.
Hey, move, and he just like, oh, sorry, like moves to the side, and you just barrel on through. As you exit the door, you see the hem once more as it climbs up the ladder to an adjacent roof, which the two of you will now see on the roof next door.
The roof next door?
Yes,
Okay.
as in the roof of the house right next to you guys.
Gotcha.
Okay. So do we see the person?
So she was apparently very fast to slip past me before I could even, get to the front door.
Oh yeah, I mean, like by the time you were going out the side door, she was already running down, and the window you came from is from the back wall
Gotcha.
versus the front door, so you would have had to run all the way around the building. So you got to the side as you see. It's not that you know that that's the person, but I mean, it's a young
It's
girl
someone running
climbing
away,
very
yeah.
quickly up a ladder that, like, from the place you're in. Perception for me.
Both of us?
Yes.
15.
23.
Okay, yeah. So from what you can both tell, this small, like, it appears to be like a very young girl, human years, about like 8 or 9 at most,
Okay.
and appears to be in like not like raggedy clothes, but like clearly not good clothes, like definitely like hand me down or like sort of patched up. And she begins climbing up the roof next door, which is like a very steep roof that she's sort of like struggling to get up a bit.
I climb after her.
Oh
I'm
god.
going to rapid climb the ladder she used to get up there.
All right, Tim, roll me a climb check.
29.
Yep.
That might be a success.
Up the ladder.
A ladder.
Okay, and I follow her up the next roof.
Well, before you do that, that would be John and Runa and Kamshi. All right, so Kamshi, you say you try to climb up the rooftop as well?
Yeah.
All right, roll me that.
Okay. Oh.
Oh.
Do
Yeah,
I need
still roll
to?
it for me.
Okay. I mean, I rolled an 11, or some of 11, but
Okay, so you are able to make it up like just past she does as she starts like sliding down the other side.
okay.
Runa, what did you get?
What was I rolling?
Either you can roll either climb or reflex.
Okay. Reflex save.
Yeah.
11.
All right, so you will manage to make it up, but it's gonna take you just like a little bit longer, so you're gonna lag behind just a bit. So like as you get to the top, Tim has like just gotten up there a little faster and like jumped on, and John has already started like sliding down the other side after her. So she takes a path. There's like a building that's undergoing like a bit of construction, and she starts running towards that. But John, you and everyone else will notice a like couple planks near some roofs nearby that make like a perfect route to where you think she's going. So you can try to take that shortcut instead if you would like.
No, the idea I just came up with is, no, I pick up the planks and javelin them at her.
It's like, no, just instantly kill her, and you're just like, well, that didn't teach us anything, huh?
I run after that route.
All right, so give me acrobatics or knowledge local,
Or
or anything else you think might help you for that.
Okay, so if he's taking the shortcut,
gonna
then I'll
bluff
keep
my way
on the
there.
normal chase.
Say again, Tim.
If Kamshi is taking the shortcut, then I'll continue the normal chase and hurt her in that direction.
17 using knowledge local.
17. Okay, so you will manage the shortcut. You just won't like it'll take you a second or two longer than it could. Essentially, like you have to like balance a bit, try to remember what these buildings looked like as you were in the town earlier.
Yeah.
All right. So, Broius, give me a. Which path are you going? Are you going for the shortcut, or are you going for the construction?
Wait.
She went the way of the construction. John's doing the shortcut, and
I'm doing the
Spare
construction.
seems to be going directly after her.
I'll go the way of the construction.
Excellent. All right. So the both of you give me climb or strength.
Isn't
Climb is strength, yes.
yeah.
Climb is strength. 0.
27.
All right. Tim absolutely manages to bust his way up. Runa, you like, stumble a bit over the construction and like fall to your knees as you like catch your foot on something. But on the right side, you can still see through Spare's eyes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why she stumbles.
Maybe.
All right, so as she manages her way through the construction, there's like a collapsed roof sort of to the side, and she's running towards that, and Tim is like Spare's like catching up to her pretty well, and it seems to be she's a little shaken at the fact that you've managed to get this close to her, and so she's sort of like turning around to him as she's running and runs directly into Kamshi's chest as he sort of pops out from behind one of the sides and she runs into you like a brick wall and just collapses onto the ground.
All right.
Hello there.
And she looks the most frightened.
All right. Well, I'm obviously going to grab her.
Yes.
I hang back a little and just eavesdrop through Sphere.
My brain just had the stupidest idea. She's panicked. I should use some sort of social skill to calm her down. My best social skill is intimidate.
Tim, you're the kind of person who tells a baby not to cry in hopes that it would work.
No, you're the
Like,
type
stop
who like
crying, I don't get
beats
it.
a baby because it's crying. You're like, stop crying. All right.
I'm the kind of person who would feed a baby beer in order to get it to shut up.
All right.
Hey, but it
Well,
does work.
We know Tim's child's future.
Not a babysitter.
Question: when do we want to stop?
We are about to.
Okay. Hold on there. Yeah. Where are you going to in such a hurry?
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean, or ma'am. It's gonna get me every time. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. I swear. I was just curious about the new people, and you visited the manor, and I didn't understand. She looks very like worried that she's gonna be in trouble for this. Roll me a perception check now that you are much closer.
Can I do a sense motive through Tim's view?
Yes.
22.
20, non-natural.
13 on my sense motive.
All right. So even with that, you're able to tell that she like very certainly is just like legitimately scared and worried and like didn't mean any harm. She just like was curious. Like she's a kid. Like
Yeah.
New people not just in town, but like she saw them very closely and was just wanted to see them. John and Tim, you both are able to see now that you're much closer that she's not covered in like dirt and grime, but in like dust and like a little bit of paint and things like that. And your best guess is this is probably one of the servants.
Okay.
Oh.
Especially by her sudden interest in you. And she continues like stammering out an apology and like not making a whole lot of sense at this point because, I mean, she's very much like lower class
Scared.
to an extreme and also a small child and like shouldn't have done any of these things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You look like you've been to the manor yourself before.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. God damn it. I do some work there. I help clean it up.
Ah, you help clean. And why were you sneaking after us? And then why running away?
Well, I'm sorry. You seemed so interesting and new. We don't get a whole lot of people in this town, and I don't know. I just wanted to see. I'm sorry. I didn't mean nothing by it.
You're still holding back, Runa?
Yeah. I mean, I'll start moving a little bit closer. I was just mainly wanting to keep a perimeter view.
Did she ever see Runa?
It's hard to tell.
That's why I was kind of trying to stay out of sight because I wasn't sure.
You actually did like a pretty good job of like staying out
She
of sight
was,
and
she
not
was
like.
always in the back, so...
Yeah, you were always in the back and like.
I wasn't originally going to climb, but then you're asking me for climb checks. I'm like, well, I guess I'm climbing now.
Oh, apologies.
That's fine. I didn't object. But yeah, I was trying to stay somewhat concealed.
Okay.
So you said we can use a bluff check to communicate non-verbally between the party?
Yes.
Okay.
And Tim, you're aware when tricks are. It has to be a willing receiver, so you know that I did something. I assume you know what I did.
Yeah, I know what you did.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to send a covert message to Kamshi real quick.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 17 on my bluff check. And the message is kind of a question / suggestion. Good cop, bad cop?
I'm assuming Dom's not gonna question any of that?
No.
Okay.
I just assume you look at each other and you're like, the usual.
Just nod.
I'm so glad that you found an
Yeah.
8-year-old and Tim's like, oh, so you good cop and I threatened to beat her up?
Not threaten to beat her up, but I just stand there menacingly.
Oh, good cop, quiet cop. Good cop wall.
Good cop wall.
Good cop, silent but deadly.
I continue to stay out of view, just observing through sphere.
Yeah.
We're not gonna hurt you or anything. We're just, it's not polite to eavesdrop on people.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear anything. I was just... I couldn't hear anything over the tavern anyways. There's very loud people in there. I'm not really used to it.
So, oh. Questions
Should I
are hard.
sense
I'm
motive
not an
on that
interrogator.
to see if it's true?
Yeah. I guess I'm
Can-
going to,
Can I sense motive to see if she's telling the truth about having not heard anything?
Yeah, you can.
21.
From what you can tell, she doesn't seem like she heard much. Like, she heard something, but she's not sure if she really counts it as hearing anything.
Okay.
So she heard something, but doesn't attach any significance to it.
She was 100% sure she didn't hear anything important until you asked, did you hear anything? And now she's not sure.
Well, he didn't ask,
I
did you
didn't
hear
ask
anything?
Yeah.
He
I
just
said it was
it's not
rude
nice
to be
eavesdrop.
eavesdropping.
Yeah, but for servants who basically all they can do to entertain themselves is eavesdropping, this is a very new concept for her.
Well, I trust you won't eavesdrop anymore.
Of course, sir. Please don't tell anyone at the manor. I need to be able to keep this job for Mama.
Oh, and how is your mom?
She's okay. She's just a bit sick still and in a little pain, but it's all right. We both do well at the manor and we're treated all right.
Okay. Well, go on back to your mom, and maybe you'll see more people at the manor. I won't be back there. I'm a lot closer to you than than to the noble baron.
Well, thank you, ma'am. I'll go right away. I promise you won't ever hear from me again. And sort of just takes off, like runs a little bit, and tries to awkwardly climb down the rooftop and falls the last couple of feet and runs off.
I just kind of look at Saren.
So we've been hearing a lot about, hearing as far as the things that annoy the Baron. Wonder if he's got some kind of hypersensitivity.
Maybe.
We start making our way back to the
Excellent.
inn.
I rejoin you. You think he's got really good hearing?
At the very least, very sensitive hearing. We'll probably want to double up on whatever helps him sleep at night.
I think we can do that.
Probably.
Sounds like a
Alright,
good
well, I
place
think-
to stop.
Yeah, I think that'll be where we end for the night. That was very fun.
Yes, it was.
Put away my stuff.
Your stuff.
All my stuff. My junk. Put my junk inside my trunk.
All right, well, that was fun.
That was.
Yep.
Yeah. Should be back in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Sweet.
Every other Thursday. You know, other plans notwithstanding.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, we will see you in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Thanks for coming, everyone. That was very fun. I
See
can't
Yes,
wait
it
to see
was.
what ridiculous plans they come up with now.
There will be more music next time, maybe.
We're
There
gonna
will
try our
definitely
best.
be ridiculous plans.
Hope so. Definitely ridiculous plans.
I will
I want
punch
you
a
to know,
hole
I
in at least
spent-
one thing.
I spent maybe 2 hours putting together like this music and making sure I had like the levels of each thing about where I needed them to, so
Oh,
it wouldn't
good.
be
Oh, it
overpowering.
was great when it was there.
Yeah.
So I'm glad. This is one of my favorite websites that I found.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.